your world, your news. This is 69 News Live at Sunrise.
It's really not that bad. It's mostly slush. I just hope that they keep up with it on the ice.
That was the reaction from motorists last night. PennDOT officials say they're pulling at all the stops this time around. They started pre-treating the roads as early as Friday. Good morning once again. I'm Wendy Davis.
And I'm Jaciel Cordoba. It's 6 o'clock, and we're going to turn things over to the Weather Center for the latest on this winter storm.
That's right. Let's go to meteorologist Matt Broderick. Hi, Matt.
All right. Hi, guys. A good morning here on a Monday. Yeah, a little bit of a mess in some spots. Most of the major roads, we're going to go to Rick here in just a minute, in pretty good shape. Some of those secondary roads, though, we have some snow and certainly a bit of a crunch on top, a little bit of ice, because we saw a bit of sleet, but some freezing drizzle has kind of topped off that snow a little bit. So it's a little crunchy when you step outside, at least for most of us. 25 Mount Pocono. Now the 6 o'clock reading just in 29 in Allentown, so a degree higher. We're going to, looks like, rise above the freezing mark in all areas today, with the exception of the Poconos, where we'll probably hang toward 32. I think for Berks County, Lehigh Valley, Bucks, Montgomery, most of us in the western New Jersey into the mid-30s today, so that'll be some good news. But right now, we are below freezing, so obviously some slick spots to contend with. Here's the storm system. Now, what happened with this storm? Basically, we had two low-pressure systems, one off to our north and our west. We had a coastal system trying to develop. Those two battled it out all day yesterday and into last night. Coastal tried to win out. Kind of, sort of it did, but never really developed as much as the model suggested, which is why we've seen basically anywhere between 1.5 inches and 4 inches. Next time around, we're going to go up to meteorologist Rachel Frank for more of what we've seen so far, but a light accumulation to moderate accumulation in spots. Right now, not a whole lot happening. One thing, though, we have some freezing drizzle falling across parts of the area. Not everywhere, but it is in some spots. For the day today, in the morning, into the afternoon, a bit of freezing drizzle this morning. Could be some flurries or a snow shower today, or maybe just some drizzle, plain drizzle, through the afternoon. So it's not going to be a wonderful day, but as far as additional accumulations, we don't expect that. Maybe there's a quick coating generally on non-paved surfaces, but overall this is not very impressive, even though Harrisburg, York, we have a bit of mixed precipitation as we speak. Most of the steadier snow has, of course, moved away, and that was it right there. This is what's left over down toward Lancaster, York, Harrisburg. This is all mixed precipitation, some freezing drizzle and some snow, and back towards State College we are dealing with some light snow, but not too much going on. Nothing showing up on radar for the most part, but again, a bit of that freezing drizzle in some areas. So definitely a bit slick in some spots. Your full forecast in a few minutes. For now, we will go over to Rick Edwards and a check on those roads. Hey, Rick.
Thanks, Matt. Good morning, everyone. Our traffic report brought to you by the State Theater in Easton. You know, it's not too bad at all on 22, of course, with the roads well treated, and we've been seeing lots of yellow flashing lights through the area, so the road crews are out, state, county, and the city crews, so given plenty of room. Here we see traffic volumes about normal here past 145 in Whitehall Township. No problems to report through Hanover Township north of Bethlehem. We did have that crash earlier eastbound near Shanersboro Road. That should be all cleaned up. You see traffic is moving by through that area with no problems. Hamilton Boulevard. We have power problems with the traffic lights from Brookside to Grange on Hamilton. They are out in Lower Macungie Township. They had to cut the power to fix the problem with a pole fire from earlier this morning. So we should get a word here soon when the power will be back on. Of course, you know how to treat those intersections like four-way stops. We have problems on Washington Street Hill in Easton as well this morning. Into New Jersey, 287, a crash near exit 22 with a tractor trailer. That is going to slow things down there in the middle of the Garden State. Into Reading, the 500 block of Court Street is closed due to some utility work. They're working underground on the power problems there. So 500 block of Court Street in town is closed. Also a crash at 15 Crescent in the same area there in Reading this morning. No problems on the highways, though. 222, 422, 78, all running smoothly for you through Berks County this morning. Catch the Tony Award-winning musical Hairspray running February 27th through March 1st at the State Theater in Easton. Call 1-800-999-STATE or go to statetheater.org. That's a traffic picture. Back to Wendy and Jaciel.
All right, thanks, Rick. Well, we have live team coverage this morning from around the area to see just what Mother Nature has left, and this is the second winter storm to hit the area in just 2 weeks. Unfortunately,
this one does not appear to be as bad as the one on Valentine's Day. Let's head to WFMZ's Tannery, who is standing by on MacArthur Road in Whitehall. Eve?
Well, guys, good morning. Yeah, we have a little bit of it. Looks like a light snow coming down right now, and not nearly as bad as the sleet that was hitting us in the face on Valentine's Day, as Jaciel mentioned. We're outside the City View Diner, a great place to be stuck in weather like this. As you can see, a few cars have ventured out. A little slush wasn't going to stop them from getting a good breakfast. But if you are venturing out this morning, take a look at our live truck. It is going to take you a couple minutes to scrape off this snowy, icy mess. It's very easy. It's not difficult to scrape off, but it is a little bit icy, as you can see. So definitely make sure to allow yourself some extra time to do that, and don't forget the top of your car so that you're not putting yourself or any cars around you in danger. Let's head out to MacArthur Road and show you what that looks like. As you can see, our volume is picking up as folks head to work, but cars really aren't having any trouble heading up the hill here. As Jackie mentioned, we are seeing some folks taking it a little too quickly and having some trouble stopping at the intersection. If we look up the hill here, you can see at the intersection of Grape Street, there is a big slushy mess, and that's what we saw as we were heading out to our live shot this morning. Just some cars having trouble at intersections where the snow and slush really accumulate. So as far as what we saw this morning, the biggest trouble spots were those intersections and your ramps and your bridges. Those places tend to get a little icier than others. So as we've been telling folks all morning, just the biggest piece of advice we can give you is it's hard to tell if it's wet or icy. So don't get overconfident. Really take your time if you have to head out this morning. Wendy and Jaciel, back to you guys.
All right, good advice. Thanks, Eve. Well, the mayor of Allentown is asking residents to stay off the roads. He's also asked that people move their cars from the streets to make room for the plows, and residents are advised to be aware of temporary no parking zones. In the case of a snow emergency, the emergency routes are listed at allentownpa.org. Any vehicles parked on those roads in a snow emergency will be towed away.
Well, at this stage of the game, snow emergencies don't really seem to be in the cards. Not a lot of snow. I think they were predicting more than actually came down, which is a good thing. Let's head back outside this morning to see what are this morning's concerns.
That's right. Melissa Batulis is standing by live on Penn Street. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Well, I'm watching all this stuff about slush in your area, and I'm going to be so bold to say that we don't have quite that much slush down here in Berks County. In fact, if you take a look at Penn Street right now, traffic is moving pretty well. Not a lot of stoppage, not a lot of skidding that we've seen. We have a stoplight in front of me, and I've been watching people. No one's really skidding to a stop at that point. So that's good news if you're headed out this morning. There is a little bit of a slushy mixture on the sidewalk here, but just about a dusting, so really not too bad. Like we said earlier, and like Eve just showed you, if you are going out, probably your biggest delay is going to be scraping off your car. I had quite a bit of snow on my car this morning, plus a nice layer of ice. So warm it up, get your doors unfrozen. I had to use the spray stuff this morning to get the doors unfrozen, but really not too bad all in all. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Melissa, I hope I didn't scratch my car because the snow was heavy, and moving it off, you needed the scraper and not just a brush. So hopefully my car didn't get scratched. I know what you're talking about. Now, officials with PennDOT say that there will not be a repeat of what happened during the Valentine's Day storm. They say communication and planning are much stronger this time. Since Friday, crews have been pre-treating roads with salt brine to help melt the snow as it fell. Every 1 to 2 inches of accumulation, and plow drivers are instructed to plow the roads. They follow that up with more salt and constant communication with PennDOT's traffic center.
We're asking every one of our foremen to report in about every 2 hours to give us the actual road condition of the road surface. And if it's not a clear road surface, we're going to be asking more questions as to why and what they need to get that done. And if we need to, we'll divert resources from the secondary roads onto the major highways to make sure they stay clear.
PennDOT officials say they've called in more personnel to man the traffic center and communicate with the drivers. For more information on road conditions, you can call PennDOT's hotline at 888-783-6783.
All right, let's continue our look around the region now. We were reporting really not that bad on the roads, which is a good thing. Still, there are some trouble spots out there.
Let's go to Jaccii Farris, who's in Bethlehem with the latest on the conditions there. Jackie?
We are on 378 by the Hill-to-Hill Bridge, and you can see traffic is moving very smoothly. We do have some slush, and the cars are breaking that up and moving it over to the side for the most part. We have seen some people at the stoplight do a little bit of skidding, and people are slowing down as they're coming off of the bridge. So you want to keep in mind, even though the roads may look clear, there could be some slippery spots underneath all of this. But for the morning, the commute through the area seems to be going smoothly. Don't seem to, we have a truck with a plow blade going by. We haven't seen anybody put the blade to the ground for good reason. There simply isn't anything to plow at this point. We're seeing a lot of cars go by with snow on the top of their vehicles. And one of the things that Ede had mentioned earlier is that you want to make sure that you brush all that off, because if it gets hard and flies off as you're going from here to there, it could injure another driver or someone standing on the side of the road, or just cause an obstruction of what you're seeing whenever you're driving. So keep that in mind, and also make sure you plan extra time as you're driving. Even though it looks clear, there could be some slick spots, so watch out for that. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Jackie. Well, JetBlue isn't taking any chances this time around either. The airline has canceled 68 flights into and out of New York's Kennedy Airport today. The cancellations are to make sure crews and planes are in the right places so the company can quickly resume operations after the storm. Passengers whose flights are canceled are being notified by email and by telephone.
We should mention we got word from LVIA that all flights are on schedule there, except one flight from Detroit or to Detroit has been canceled, but everything else is on schedule. Now let's get a check of the weather now.
All right, we're going to head back over to Matt. He's in the Weather Center. Good morning.
All right, good morning, guys. Obviously, this time around, not as bad as our Valentine's Day storm. Less precipitation, less in the way of, the Valentine's Day storm, we had over 12 hours of sleet. This time around, not a whole lot of sleet, a little bit of freezing drizzle along with the snow, but generally just some snow followed by a little bit of that ice on top. So that's why as you step outside, a little crunch going on top of that snow. 25 Mount Pocono. Again, the 6 o'clock reading in 29 in the Lehigh Valley, 31 in Reading, and 32 in Trenton. Most of us at or below freezing. You go down to Philadelphia, we're just a tick above freezing at 33, but obviously there are some slippery conditions in some areas. Most of the majors in pretty good shape. Some of those secondary roads still snow-covered and ice-covered, at least in some areas. So be careful if you're driving early this morning. Here's your travel weather. Boston, Pittsburgh, Chicago, not a major deal, but some snow showers and flurries. Could be a coating to an inch in any of those spots, but above the freezing mark. L.A. partly sunny and a high of 66 degrees as far as today. Not too much left right now. There is some freezing drizzle as we speak, also a few flurries in some spots, but overall that steadier precipitation has now moved off toward the north and the east. For the rest of the day, could see a little additional precipitation, but probably not a whole lot in the way of accumulating snow or ice. So we'll talk about that in a few more minutes. For now, let's go up to meteorologist Rachel Frank. She's upstairs, and she has the latest on some of our snow totals and the advisories in effect. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Matt. We've been collecting all of the viewer snowfall reports and the ones from the National Weather Service. In general, we're looking at anywhere from 1.5 to 4 inches of snow with that thin layer of ice on top, so you do want to watch out for that. Also, when we get our viewer snowfall reports, we collect some road conditions as well, and I have a few to pass along. The side roads apparently still very bad, passable but sloppy. I've seen that a lot in several emails, and in Hunterdon, a woman described her back road as a sheet of ice, and of course the culprit with that is going to be your freezing rain, or your freezing drizzle is really what we're seeing right now. So I thought we'd go over a little bit about what is a freezing rain or freezing drizzle. It's rain that falls in liquid form, then freezes when it hits the ground or any other surface that's less than 32 degrees. That can include your car, which is why a lot of you are having a little bit of trouble scraping that ice off this morning, and that creates a thin glaze on the roads. You heard the reporters talking about it earlier. It's kind of hard to tell what is a wet road and what is a road that is covered in ice. Now, this can sometimes cause trees and power lines if you see enough freezing rain. Don't worry, we're not expecting that right now, but again, we will see just a bit of freezing drizzle. Because of that, the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory for all counties in the viewing area until 11 a.m. And we typically see that issued whenever we see a combination of winter weather, such as snow or freezing rain, that represents a hazard, but not enough to issue a warning. Here are some more official snow and ice reports to pass along. These were issued a little bit earlier today, so a little bit more has fallen since then, so keep that in mind. Allentown, 2.2 inches. Wynwood, which is in Montgomery County, 2 inches on the dot. Downingtown in Chester County, that came in at 1.5 inches, and National Park, 1.5 inches. That's in Gloucester. What to expect for the rest of the morning hours? Well, we'll continue to see that wintry mix, of course, though. Things are tapering off, but we're not going to see any light in the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Just be a cloudy, kind of gloomy day today. Some freezing rain, a few snow showers or flurries, although temperatures will rise above freezing this afternoon. We could still see a flurry or even a quick shower. Now, we haven't seen too many viewer snowfall reports, so if you do have any, we would like to hear from you. So give us an email at weather@wfmz.com, or you can go to our website at wfmz.com, click on weather, and then email the Weather Center. We would love to hear from you, and of course we'll be posting these up here throughout the show. Now for more on the current conditions, let's head back down to meteorologist Matt Broderick. Hey, Matt.
All right, Rachel, thanks very much. And yeah, certainly would love to see your weather observations at weather@wfmz.com. Again, most of us about 1.5 to 3 or 4 inches of snow with a little glaze on top as well. So that's why we're dealing with some of those slippery conditions. Satellite, last 24 hours, you can see this little dry punch of air trying to move on in as we saw that the evening and the overnight period progressed. Now, obviously, a ton of clouds. Now, what happened with this storm? Well, we had one storm back to the west. We had that secondary storm, that coastal storm, trying to form. Anytime you have those two storms, they try to battle for energy. Which one's going to kind of take over? And the coastal tried to take over the best it could. It did kind of sort of take over, but not as much as the model suggested. That being said, we saw some of that steadier snow for a while last evening, and that's why we got to our 2-3 inches for the most part across the region. And overall, just a little bit of that freezing rain on top as the precipitation kind of lightened up a little bit. We saw that freezing drizzle and light freezing rain. For now, not a whole lot happening. You can see back into central Pennsylvania. Right now, Harrisburg, York, and Lancaster have all gone back over to some light snow. So as this tries to progress eastward, it's having a tough time. As it tries to move toward us, we could see, again, a couple of flurries or a snow shower, obviously some freezing drizzle as we speak, and perhaps an opportunity for some just plain drizzle during the afternoon. So it's not going to be a great day. I think the clouds will hang very tough. As far as any sort of accumulating snow or ice for the rest of the day, we don't expect that. If you see a heavier snow shower, I suppose you could see a quick coating, but probably not on the roads, especially after about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's tough to see that on the road sometimes. Here you see back toward Harrisburg, Lancaster, York, and even towards State College, we are dealing with a little bit of that light snow trying to move into western Berks. So again, don't be surprised if you see some more freezing drizzle or a few flurries and a snow shower throughout the morning, and even into the afternoon we could see that as well. There's that little upper level low that'll continue to glide across toward the east, and then high pressure will build its way on in. So I think as we move into tomorrow, we will see an opportunity for improving conditions. But still tonight, there's a chance of a few flurries or a scattered snow shower, but as far as any sort of additional accumulation, not expected here during your day. All right, bus stop forecast now. Some schools canceled, some with a delay. This figures in your delay. Near 30 this morning. Again, a little bit of freezing drizzle or a flurry in spots. Mid-30s this afternoon. Could be a flurry or a bit of drizzle at that point. 35 today. That's good news. We all get above freezing. Some freezing drizzle early, and then some afternoon flurries or plain drizzle around. Cloudy, some flurries tonight down to 25, and then your extended outlook a little bit milder. You can see our average high 42. We're going to be pretty close to that for much of this week as we approach Read Across America on Friday. Looks like a rain event. Could start Thursday night into Friday. That looks more like rain as of this point. Matter of fact, the model's trending a little bit milder than what we have now. So we'll watch that for you. Again, be careful. Still some slick spots on some of those roadways. Now we'll send things back to Wendy and Jaciel.